Christy, and today I'm going to be doing the author trivia tag. So thank you to Melissa from Hopeful Happenings for tagging me to do this. I'm going to link her video down below along with the original creator of the tag. So I thought this tag was super fun just to talk about 10 different things that you might not know about me from, any of my other videos. And I just thought it was really fun to go through and think of like random things. So the first thing that I came up with is that I actually have a scar on my lip. You probably can't see it with this lipstick that I'm wearing, but I actually have a scar from when I was like 3 and I was jumping on the bed and I fell and hit my mouth on the bedpost, and yeah, it kind of like split open. And so anyway, yeah, I have this little scar. And the other thing kind of in this same category is that I was actually hit by a car when I was in high school. Thank the Lord I was okay. I was really blessed to be just fine. But what was happening was I was walking through the parking lot to get to school, and there was another girl. We were both late. So there was like no one else around. We were both running late. And so I was walking and the sun was like in her eyes from the rear view mirror. And so she didn't see me behind the car and she was reversing to like get into a spot or something. And yeah, so she like her car knocked me, and I was wearing like a big giant backpack. So that was also kind of a buffer, but she like knocked me to the ground and I was pretty like bruised and beat up, but luckily like nothing broken, again, thank the Lord. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. Oh, and speaking of my lip, this kind of goes into my second category, and I'll explain in a second. But so when I was a kid, I used to do speech arts tournaments. So speech arts are kind of like, it's a competitive thing where you're performing a poem or short story in front of a panel of judges. And when I was 6, I actually won first place in the district for the 3 Billy Goats Gruff. And I think one of the reasons, at least my mom says, is because when I would play the troll under the bridge, I would do this thing with my lip, kind of like Elvis, but like it would come out, in that character. Whenever I was playing that character, I would do this lip thing, and so I guess they thought it was cute. That, and I had a speech impediment too, so I think those two things combined together, I don't know. But yeah, that was really fun. That was a huge part of my life growing up, was doing these speech arts tournaments, and I think it really helped me get more comfortable speaking in public and performing and stuff. And that actually goes into my third trivia about myself, is that I used to do acting in high school, but one of the things that I never felt comfortable doing was musical theater. Because I didn't really feel comfortable singing. I was comfortable performing, but just not singing. And I've always loved to sing, even though I kind of kept it a secret most of my life, or for the most part kept it a secret throughout my life. And but I've always been obsessed with musical theater. I love watching musicals. So this year, now that I'm an adult, I have really been pushing myself to take singing lessons and do more musical theater, and I've actually started doing recitals and singing in public more, and I've actually started auditioning for like local musicals. What would this be? My fourth thing that I came up with. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to share my favorite TV show, movie, and singer from when I was a kid. So my favorite TV show was called Gummy Bears, and it was an animated show, and it was on Disney, and it was about these bears, and they had these special berries, and so they would make gummy berry juice, and whenever they drank it, they could bounce. And so like for some reason, like they were able to defeat these bad guys whenever they would drink their gummy berry juice. It like gave them superhuman bouncing ability or something, but like my sister and I loved it. And then my favorite movie when I was a kid was Beauty and the Beast. I loved it. I used to get all Beauty and the Beast themed presents for my birthday and Christmas for several years, until Pocahontas came out, and then that was my favorite. I used to like I mean, this is embarrassing. Like, I used to fantasize about talking to, like, trees. And, like how she talked to Grandmother Willow. I would be outside in my backyard pretending like I could talk to the trees. It was I just loved her. She was such a role model. And then my favorite singer when I was a kid was Celine Dion. I think I was 5 years old, and I would sit in the back seat of the car singing. My parents would encourage me to, and I would just belt out The Power of Love. I had the entire song memorized, and I would just belt it out like Celine, and my dad just like drank it up. He loved it. At least I think he did. I don't know, maybe I was really annoying, but in my mind he loved it, and he was like my biggest fan. Oh, and a close second on my favorite TV show was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I freaking loved that show. So I think this one's number 5. I had a freakish obsession with Lord of the Rings, and my whole family used to make fun of me for it because I just would collect anything I could find that was Lord of the Rings. I had this like huge nerdy collection, and I think, so originally I became obsessed with it because of Legolas, you know, Orlando Bloom's character in it, and he was like my first major crush when I was 12 or 13 when it came out. So yeah, he was my first major crush. And so yeah, I had the 365-day calendar that had all the pictures that you could tear out, and I would save all the Legolas ones, but I also, you know, really loved, of course, Frodo and all the hobbits and everything, and Aragorn. I mean, he was a little bit old for me, but still I loved him. And yeah, oh, and then, so Barnes & Noble used to sell these bookmarks that had a replica of the ring on them, and so I collected all of those. Anytime I found those, and I didn't have a ton of money. I was like 13. I really didn't have any money. So it took me some time, but like slowly I, you know, accumulated all of those. And then my parents actually bought me like a little Legolas doll one year for Christmas, and I was so excited. So I think this is number 6. So I studied abroad in college to learn French. So I was studied abroad in France for a semester, and it was the best time of my life. It was so much fun. If anyone else is out there watching this in college and they're thinking about studying abroad, I highly recommend it if you can afford it. I mean, don't go into crazy debt over it like I did, but I mean, really, it was the best time of my life. I learned so much about myself, and I really like came out of my shell. I put down a lot of walls that I had my whole life during that period of time, because you have to. You're out of your comfort zone. You're in this new country with this other language. You know, the city I was staying in, like hardly anyone spoke English, you know, so you're really forced to put yourself out there and learn new things and, you know, be uncomfortable. And so it was just such a big learning opportunity for me. I feel like I grew so much, and I just love it. That city holds a really close spot in my heart. Oh, and that being said, yes, I do speak French, but not as comfortably or confidently as I used to. If I walked up to a French person right now, I probably would chicken out and wouldn't speak French to them, just to be honest. Not that I couldn't, it's just I don't really have that confidence that I had back then. Okay, so then number 7 is that I am obsessed with film. I think I've made it pretty clear on my channel so far, like I'm a huge film buff, but I actually almost went into filmmaking as a career. I studied several different, because I think I actually ended up with, I can hardly even remember nowadays what my minors were. I think I had 2 minors. One was French, and then the other one was film. And so I took several courses on film, filmmaking, video editing, screenplay writing, history of film. Oh my gosh, that one was really fun, because we just got to watch movies, you know, and write about movies, do like essays and stuff writing about movies. But yeah, so I dabbled between, you know, directing, video editing, and screenplay writing, and finally I decided to settle on creative writing as, you know, as my major and kind of the path that I wanted to pursue. But I still, I mean, I really love film, if you can't tell. And actually writing a screenplay is still something that is on my bucket list of things to do. I definitely plan on doing it. I actually did write in college when I was taking my screenplay writing course. I did write a short screenplay, but I do want to write a full-length feature film eventually. It's just, I'm trying to fit everything in. You know, there's only so much time in the day. Okay, and then so number 8, I wanted to talk about some of my past jobs that I've had. I thought it would be interesting. I actually had a job as a barista for a while, so I really enjoy making coffee, especially at home. I like making different recipes and stuff. You know, lattes, espressos, cappuccinos, like all that. I love it. I actually had jobs I worked in childcare for a long time, working with kids, anywhere from infants to 5 years old, I think. Yeah. And I worked for a radio company. I was not like the talent or anything. I worked in the sales department, but I did get to record a couple of commercials for them, so that was really fun. It was fun getting to see the behind the scenes of radio and kind of like how that all comes about. And I've also worked in fast food and been a server, so I really recommend to everyone to work in the food industry at least once in their lives. You learn so much. Like, it just really puts things into perspective for you, you know, when you're dining out. I'm not going to go into the whole like tipping thing here, but just if you don't know, most servers, at least where I live, make less than $3 an hour. So I just always try to let people know, just in case they don't, that, you know, in Europe, servers make a lot more money per hour, so that's why tipping isn't really required. But here, you know, they definitely need those tips to be able to make a living. Okay, and so number 9 is that I actually grew up as a Trekkie. So my dad loved Star Wars. He watched it since, you know, it first came out, the original Star Wars with William Shatner. And so when I was a kid, Voyager had just started, and so we all watched that. It was like a family thing. We all watched that together. And we watched some of Star Trek: The Next Generation, but Voyager was really like my main experience with Star Trek growing up. And we used to go, sometimes the Star Trek conventions would come to our city, and so we would go and get to meet a lot of those stars, and that was really fun to do together. And then, of course, you know, Star Wars, we were also huge fans of growing up. We were really into watching all of those together. And oh my gosh, don't even get me started about Reylo. I'm gonna be so pissed if they don't end up together. Okay, and then this last one, I hope I don't get judged for, because some people are so averse to reality television and they just think it's so superficial. And I'm not saying it's not, but I really enjoy it. Like, ever since, I think it started when I was in like the end of high school, when, you know, when Laguna Beach in the Hills came on. That was really what drew me to reality television in the first place, and I just got sucked into it. So yeah, I love the Kardashians, The Bachelor. Oh my gosh, Monday nights, The Bachelor are like my night to just relax, have a glass of wine, and just like watch the drama unfold. I just love it. But yeah, I draw the line at Housewives. I've never gotten into Housewives, so if that makes any of it better. So those were 10 things about me. I hope you enjoyed it and you don't judge me too harshly for anything. I will be tagging some people, but I need to see who has and hasn't done this tag, because I know a lot of people have at this point. But yeah, if you're tagged, I'll be linking you down below. And even if you're not tagged, please do it if you want to. I thought it was a lot of fun, a great way to just like share some like silly random things about me. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future videos. And I'll see you next time. Bye.